turns all negative activity around. Mama, we the daughters of earth, the sweet crone trinity, have been inspired in the spirit of compassion for the well-being of our ancient cosmic family, to understand why you connected this trio to demonstrate the magic of your power, to awaken and protect our universal ancient family. Welcome to Talk with MamaYAH on Truth Uncompromised. And good evening. This is MamaYAH El Molina Bay. Mama, empower our ability with the authority of our common purpose. Excuse me for a moment. Mama, empower our ability with the authority of our common purpose. We are one in the best interest of our global family. In your essence, as ancient of ancients. Mama, please allow this trinity to naturally raise upright our fallen sisters, to elevate them to their true celestial level in mind and spiritual substance. Good evening. I'm going to read tonight scriptures on the love of mother. I will be reading from the Quran, from the Bible, from the Bhagavad Gita, and what is there from the Torah. After I do the reading, I will be bringing you in for questions and answers, Q&A. So please sit back and enjoy the reading. From the Quran, we have enjoined on man kindness to his parents. In pain did his mother bear him, and in pain did she give him birth. That is from the Quran, chapter 46, verse 15. Thy Lord hath decreed that ye worship none but him, and that ye be kind to parents, whether one or both of them attain old age in thy life. Say not to them a word of contempt, nor repel them, but address them in terms of honor. And out of kindness lower to them the wing of humility, and say, My Lord, bestow on them thy mercy, even as they cherished me in childhood. That is from chapter 17, 23, and 24. We have enjoined on man and woman kindness to parents, and if either of them strive to force thee to join me, anything of which thou hast no knowledge, obey them not. That is chapter 29 and 8. We have enjoined on man and woman to be good to his and her parents. Show gratitude to me and to thy parents. To me is thy final goal. If they, your parents, strive to make thee join in worship with me things of which thou hast no knowledge, obey them not. Yet bear them company in this life with justice and consideration, and follow the way of those who turn to me in love. That's verse 31 chapter 31, 14 to 15. In the Hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, "May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. Your heaven lies under the feet of your mother." Ahmed Nasai. A man came to the prophet and said, "O Messenger of God, who among the people is the most worthy of my good companionship?" The prophet said, "Your mother." The man said, "Then who?" The prophet said, "Then your mother." The man further asked, "Then who?" The prophet said, "Then your mother." The man asked again, "Then who?" The prophet said, "Then your father." Bukhari, Muslim. Abu Usaid Saidi said, "We were once sitting with Rasulullah when a man from the tribe of Salma came and said to him, 'O Messenger of Allah, do my parents have rights over me even after they have died?' And Rasulullah said, 'Yes, you must pray to Allah to bless them with his forgiveness and mercy, fulfill the promises they made to anyone, and respect their relations and their friends.'" Abu Dawood and Ibn Majah. Abdullah ibn Amir related that the Messenger of Allah said, "The major sins are to believe that Allah has partners, to disobey one's parents, to commit murder, and to bear false witness." Bukhari, Muslim. It is narrated by Asma bint Abu Bakr that during the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, her mother, who was then pagan, came to see her from Makkah. Asma informed the Messenger of Allah of her arrival and also that she needed help. He said, "Be good to your mother." Bukhari, Muslim. This hadith confirms that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gave precedence to the kind treatment of one's mother over kind treatment of one's father. Likewise, the late Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz, comments on this hadith saying, "So this necessitates that the mother is given 3 times the like of kindness and good treatment than the father." He also writes, "The secret of her importance lies in the tremendous burden and responsibility that is placed upon her, and the difficulties that she has to shoulder. Responsibilities and difficulties, some of which not even a man bears. This is why from the most important obligations upon a person is to show gratitude to the mother and kindness and good companionship with her. And in this matter, she is to be given precedence over and above the father. And I have no doubt that my mother, may Allah shower her with his mercy, had a tremendous effect upon me in encouraging me to study, and she assisted me in it. May Allah greatly increase her reward and reward her with the best of rewards for what she did for me." The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, also said in a famous narration, "Paradise lies at the feet of your mother." What can be greater evidence of honoring women than this? Islam has effectively placed the ultimate reward of human beings in their devotion to their mothers. Shaykh Ibrahim ibn Salih al-Mahmud writes, treat your mother with the best companionship, then your father, because paradise is under the mother's feet. Never disobey your parents, nor make them angry. Otherwise, you will live a miserable life in this world and the hereafter, and your children will treat you likewise. Ask your parents gently if you need something. Always thank them if they give it to you, and excuse them if they do not. And never insist on a matter if they refuse to give you something. That's in How to Be Kind to Your Parents, page 40. I know of no other deed that brings people closer to Allah than kind treatment and respect towards one's mother. I came to the Prophet and said, O Messenger of Allah, I want to perform jihad in the way of Allah. He asked, is your mother alive? I replied, yes. The Prophet then said, cling to her feet, because paradise is there. At this moment, I'm just going to open the Q&A just for a moment so that I can acknowledge some of the callers that are on the line. There are 15 callers here. So, okay. So, Jeffrey, I'm going to put you in and click 2777. Hello? Okay, I seem to be echoing, and I'm not sure why that is. However, give me one moment. Okay. So I'm going to open the line for J. Renee. Would you please confirm that you are hearing everything okay? 4823. Okay. So I think all of you are listening. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me, and I'm just trying to get a confirmation. 6859, could you confirm that you hear me all right? Okay. I'm going to keep trying until I get a confirmation from someone. 6934.
Yes, sister.
Yes, I'm just trying to get a confirmation that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Very well, thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to scriptures from the Bible about the love of mother. From Proverbs 31, verse 25 to 30. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpassed them all. From Psalm 127, verse 3, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Isaiah 49, verse 15, can a woman forget her nursing child, that she should have no compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget, yet I will not forget you. Proverbs 6:20, my son, keep your father's commandment and forsake not your mother's teaching. Ephesians 6:2, honor your mother, your father, and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. Isaiah 66:13, as one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Proverbs 23:22-25. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy truth, and do not sell it. Buy wisdom, instruction, and understanding. The father of the righteous will greatly rejoice. He who fathers a wise son will be glad in him. Let your father and mother be glad. Let her who bore you rejoice. Exodus 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. To 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 30. Then the mother of the child said, as the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you. So he arose and followed her. Matthew 15, verse 4-6. For God commanded, honor your father and your mother, and whoever reviles father or mother must surely die. But you say, if anyone tells his father or mother, what you would have gained from me is given to God, he need not honor his father. So for the sake of your tradition, you have made void the word of God. Matthew 12:48-50. But he replied to the man who told him, who is my mother and who are my brothers? And stretching out his hand toward his disciple, he said, here are my mother and brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. And I put a note there, a friend can be like a mother. 2 Timothy 1, verse 5. I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you as well. Proverbs 15, verse 20. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish man despises his mother. Leviticus 19, verse 3. Every one of you shall revere his mother and his father. Proverbs 29, verse 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. Proverbs 20, verse 20. If one curses his father or his mother, his lamp will be put out in utter darkness. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching. Exodus 21, verse 15. Whoever strikes his father or mother shall be put to death. Proverbs 31, verse 28. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Luke 2, verse 51. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. And his mother treasured up all these things in her heart. Proverbs 10, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, while a foolish son is a sorrow to his mother. Proverbs 31, verse 31. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Proverbs 19, verse 26. He who does violence to his father and chases away his mother is a son who brings shame and reproach. Proverbs 31, verse 14 to 16. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. Galatians 4, verse 26. But the Jerusalem above is free, and she is our mother. Proverbs 1, verse 8 to 9. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and forsake not your mother's teaching, for they are a graceful garland for your head and pendants for your neck. 1 Kings 19, verse 20. And he left the oxen and ran after Elijah and said, Let me kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you. Ephesians 5, 28 to 6, 1. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Genesis 3, verse 20. The man called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. From the Torah, there is a blog by a young woman, Rili Popka Klatinik. Her research found that there is not a single word of dialogue between any mothers and daughters in the entire 24 books of the Hebrew Scripture. Implausible as it may sound, it is true. Not one word is exchanged in the entire Tanakh between any mother and daughter. However, Rebekah meets, waters, and welcomes the servant of Abraham and his camels in Genesis chapter 24. Bedecked with gifted jewelry, she runs to her mother's house to report on the arrival of the stranger. Though no words are directly exchanged, we notice that here is the beginning of a hint of a motif: mother's tent or mother's house. Later, Isaac is comforted after the death of his mother only when he brings Rebekah into what had been his mother's tent. In one of the 5 megalots, the dreamy beloved of Song of Songs speaks to her adored suitor and tells him that she will bring him into her mother's house. There the relationship will blossom. Mother's house again. Mother is the original comfort of intimacy and love. The run to mother's house is the eternal impulse for return. Mother's house is a womb-like shelter and security, the place of primal warmth. The potential romance between Isaac and Rebekah is set in motion as she runs to her own mother's house with news of the unfamiliar person who had been bursting with intentions, which are then later ultimately realized as she enters the tent of Isaac's mother. Mother's love gives way to the promise of intimate love of the future. The Torah is suggesting a blueprint for mothers and daughters. Let's understand that first place of tenderness and grow from there. Perhaps this sweet phenomenon of mother's house can help us to break down those tensions that sometimes build between mother and daughter. Finally, from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 40. Arjuna said, in the destruction of a family, the immemorial religious rights of the family perish. On the destruction of spirituality, impiety overcomes the whole family. The position of woman in any society is a true index of its cultural and spiritual level. That's from Sri Radhakrishnan, the Vice President of India in 1953. From On Mother, from the Mahabharata by Santi Parva, Mokshadharma Parva. Bhishma said, the mother is the panacea for all kinds of calamities. The existence of the mother invests one with protection. The reverse deprives one of all protection. The man who, though divested of prosperity, enters his house uttering the words, O mother, has not to indulge in grief, nor does decrepitude ever assail him. A person whose mother exists, even if he happens to be possessed of sons and grandsons, and even he himself is 100 years old, but in the eyes of his mother, he looks like a child of 2 years of age. Whether the mother is able or disabled, lean or robust, the son is always protected by the mother. None else, according to the ordinance, is the son's protector. Then does the son become old. Then does he become stricken with grief. Then does the world look empty in his eyes when he becomes deprived of his mother. There is no shelter like the mother. There is no refuge like the mother. There is no defense like the mother. There is no one so dear as the mother. For having borne him in her womb, the mother is the son's Datri. For having been the chief cause of his birth, she is his Janani. For having nursed his young limbs, she is called Amva or Amma. For nursing and looking after the son, she is called Sudha. The mother is one's own body. There is no mode of life that is superior to serving one's mother. 3 miracles from woman to mother, based upon a talk by Professor Gunvant Shah. Number 1, the miracle of childbirth. The act of giving birth is the only moment when both pain and pleasure converge in a moment of time. It is in the manner of the sharp point of a needle astride. Upon that point are both pleasure and pain, simultaneously assailing the female that is undergoing the miracle of birth. Number 2, There is only one instance where both pain and pleasure work in unison, also a miracle. This is the second miracle. Number 3, before the childbirth, the lady was a woman. After the childbirth, the woman is transformed into a mother. This is a revolutionary act, an evolutionary happening in the manner of the silkworm getting transformed into some winged angel, a miracle. This is the third miracle. This experience of transformation into motherhood is a privilege reserved exclusively for women. Men do not undergo such miraculous transformation. Mother is another name of devotion. The selfless love and devotion towards the infant or child are grown from the seeds of innocence. No cunning, scheming, selfish motives here. I have more to read. However, it's time for Q&A. So if you will hit *6, then I can bring you into the queue, and you may ask your question. And there are 19 people on the call. So if anyone has a question, or I have more to read, so I can continue. I'll give you another moment. You can hit *6, and then you'll be queued to hit a 1 to speak. Very good. And my sweet clone sister, good evening. 685. Good evening. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm very happy to be here. Always happy to talk about MamaYAH.
Yes, I was able to tune in a little late to the show, but I didn't have a question. I want to know if you would mind if I read a poem called "The Mother" by Khalil Gibran.
Please do. And this is Sila Eliana Bay, one of the sweet crones. Thank you. Go ahead.
The Mother by Khalil Gibran. The most beautiful word on the lips of mankind is the word mother, and the most beautiful call is the call of my mother. It is a word full of hope and love, a sweet and kind word coming from the depths of the heart. The mother is everything. She is our consolation in sorrow, our hope in misery, and our strength in weakness. She is a source of love, mercy, sympathy, and forgiveness. Everything in nature bespeaks the mother. The sun is the mother of earth and gives it its nourishment of heart. It never leaves the universe at night until it has put the earth to sleep, to the song of the sea and the hymn of birds and brooks. And this earth is the mother of trees and flowers. It produces them, nurses them, and weans them. The trees and flowers become kind mothers of their great fruits and seeds. And the mother, the prototype of all existence, is the eternal spirit, full of beauty and love.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
I'll add that there are untold names for Mother and her love. We have myriad opportunities to celebrate her glory, and next month we'll be celebrating Mother's Day. Another word for it is mater, and then there's the goddess Sakti. Every day is an invitation to be more and live more and laugh more and celebrate Mother's glory. Mama's your matter, the matter that carries you into the world, the life force that gets you here, adores you now. She's eternal present. Mom's more than meets the eye, her presence, density, and deity, only to be understood, felt fully, many moons later. Her soil, our humus to grow strong. Her love is our nectar to shine bright. Her Shakti is our elixir to be bold, food of the gods from the heavens and the earth, her tonic of choice, power by design. Mama equals earth, which equals Mata, which equals matter, which equals Shakti, the goddess, and it equals mom. There's O-M, in mom for a reason. There's A-M-A, Amma, in mama for good. Mama, earth, Mata, matter, Shakti, mom. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to mute you. And if you want to come back in, do raise your hand again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. 277. Do you have your speaker on? 277.
229.
Okay. Well, I closed you out of the queue because you're reverberating. So if you possibly take your speaker off and hit *6 and then *6 again, you can come back in, 2777. If anyone else would like to come into the queue, hit *6. And if not, I have more to read from the Hindu readings. So, the family unit. The future happiness and well-being of the child is absolutely dependent upon the proper preservation and functioning of the family unit. The future well-being of the society, of the community, and of the nation is absolutely dependent upon the proper preservation and functioning of the family unit. The measure of the level of happiness and well-being of a nation is measured by the happiness and well-being of the family. Family is a pious phenomenon, productive of goodness, that acts as a shield against the eroding influences that melt and distort culture and noble value. Well-functioning family is verily a temple that transforms a house into a home. The single male or female lives in a house of bricks and mortar. The male ego and the female ego reside in the mind of the male and the female. Unbending and rigid, male and female egos are destructive of family units. For married couples especially, let there be more love and less ego. Second, in importance, after the word love comes the word sorry. Its characteristic is pious humbleness. Where the male and female egos are about to collide, let the word sorry intervene. It will encapsulate the egos. Mother's time with children, guided by wisdom and properly utilized, lays the proper foundation for nation building. A well-balanced individual with solid psychological foundations is the quality thread that goes into making the fabric of the nation. At the root of nation building are the three miracles. Proper understanding of this fact and its implementation. Proper understanding of this fact and its implementation will be the fourth miracle. Wifehood versus Motherhood by Swami Ranganasananda. It is in this sphere that Indian thought, with its spiritual view of life, has much to contribute to steady the feet of men and women in the East and the West. Motherhood is a spiritual transformation of wifehood. The wife may and does demand and take, but the mother feels it her privilege to give. If women as wife is socially significant, woman as mother is spiritually glorious. The culture of the Hindu trains him to look upon all women as forms of the one divine mother. The mother is more worthy of reverence than father or teacher, according to our scriptures. Says the Manu Shriti, from the point of view of reverence due, a teacher is tenfold superior to a mere lecturer, a father 100-fold to a teacher, and a mother 1,000-fold to a father. The role of women as the builders of nations by Swami Shivananda from the Divine Life Society. The performance of domestic duties, the management of her household, the rearing of children, the economizing of the family means these are a woman's proper office. She's already endowed with divine power. She already governs the world by her power of gentle love and affection. To make noble citizens by training her children and to form the character of the whole human race is undoubtedly a power far greater than that which a woman could hope to exercise as a voter or a lawmaker, as a president, minister, or judge. The mother's impressions strike deep root in the brain of the fetus that dwells in the womb. If the pregnant woman does japa, which is repetition of Lord's name, with or without the rosary, and kirtan, which is singing the Lord's glory. If she studies religious books and leads a pious life during pregnancy, the fetus is endowed with spiritual inclination or spiritual tendency. A woman's natural sphere of activity is the home, where she can prove most helpful to man, because she is the most adored. She can be patriotic by living in a simple house, homestead, bringing forth noble, cultured citizens, politicians, warriors, and saints. In the West, babies are born and brought up in nursery schools and maternity homes. They do not know the health-giving, affectionate, tender, and soul-expanding caresses of their mothers. They do not know what it is to sleep in the warm embrace of a loving mother. Brought up in the atmosphere of bargain and economics, they develop, even in their teens, an unceasing devotion to the dollar and mammon. The social atmosphere in the West is overcharged with sex. Early marriages may be rare in the West, but not early sex indulgence. There cannot be real love between the parties. Marriage becomes a contract, not a sacrament. Hence, there are countless divorces. India recognizes the ideal of motherhood as the highest for a woman. There is so much talk in the West about the emancipation of women. Scrutinize her closely, and you will find her a slave of appetites, fashions, and the dollar. In the Vedic period, women enjoyed an honorable and exalted position. They occupy a high position now also. The object of marriage is mutual happiness of the parties, the raising of children, and worship and service of the Lord. Coming to the forefront in blazing daylight is certainly not the test or criteria of the true greatness of a woman. The happiness for a woman lies not in catering for carnal passions, not in challenging man in his own field by forgetting her natural chorus of duties, but in leading the ideal life as taught in the sacred scriptures, the crowning glory of womanhood. Then, woman will be restored to the original dignity of the universal mother, which she is to every Indian today. I'm going to go back to the board, and I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions. You may certainly hit *6 and come in. I'm reading from scriptures about loving your mother today and the place that woman has. It does not mean that I agree with everything in these scriptures, but it does show that in the Torah, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bible, and in the Quran, much has been written about women. So I encourage you to come in with your comments or questions. Okay. I will continue to read from the Bhagavad Gita. Woman's place is in the home. The eternal fidelity of a Hindu woman to her husband makes her an ideal of the feminine world. It makes her sublime. This lofty virtue of fidelity runs deep in the heart of every Hindu woman of India, superior to any of the other countries in national integrity and honor. The inspiring force of the home is the woman. The home is the origin and beginning of every form of social organization. It is the nursery of the nation. It is a sweet place wherein children are trained for future citizenship. The woman illumines the home through the glory of motherhood. Man is incapable of doing the domestic duties incident upon the rearing of children. Good habits, right conduct, and formation of good character are created in children spontaneously in a well-regulated home under the personal influence of the mother. The loving kindness and the cultured gentleness of the mother help the children to unfold their native talents and dormant capacities quickly. Children absorb ideas by suggestion and imitation. Early training and impressions formed at early age are lasting. The mother at home can do the formation of character very efficiently. Therefore, home is the most beautiful training ground for the building of character in children under the personal guidance of the mother. Woman is the backbone or bedrock to sustain religion and national strength, peace, and prosperity. Manu declares, the woman who always does good, who is efficient in work, sweet in speech, devoted to her duty and service of her husband, is really no human being, but a goddess. If the mother trains her children on the right lines from the early age, she is rendering great service indeed to the nation and national culture. Women have good and ample opportunities of improving national health and increasing prosperity. It is they who really build the nation. They can utilize their talents and abilities in making the home a cradle of culture, character, personal ability, and religious revival. It is therefore wrong to say that their lives are cramped and stunted by attending to the duties at home, and that no scope is given for their evolution and freedom. This is a sad mistake, indeed. The life of a woman is as noble and serious as that of a man. There is no doubt about this. It is the women who keep up the life and happiness of the home through their smiles, tender affection, sweet speech, grace, angelic presence, and charming personality. The home will be a real void without them. It will lose its peculiar charm and beauty without their presence. Women are the mothers of the home. The extraordinary ability, intellectual attainments, and magnetic personalities of modern women are standing monuments of their undoubted equality with men. If you go on YouTube, you can listen to Sadhguru. It's spelled Sadhguru on the power of feminine energy. The feminine aesthetic is love, art, and beauty, not economics, which is about survival, which is masculine. The key to the relationship between masculine and feminine is collaboration. Women cannot be forced to stay at home. Woman cannot be forced to stay at home. She is a free spirit and will rebel. But the personal influence of women at home is essential to unify the various interests of the family. It is women alone who can rear or nurse children. Hindu wives are queens of their own homes. The husbands should treat their wives with intense love and respect. They should be regarded as equals in all respects and held in the light of partners in life. If a man earns, the wife stays at home. It does not mean that the woman is a parasite or a slave. She is indeed the builder of the nation. Verily, women exercise an authority over their husbands through their love, tenderness, affection, grace, beauty, selfless service, fidelity, purity, and self-abnegation. And that's what I had to read this evening. We have 7 minutes left. And I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions or comments to please raise your hand. Hit *6. Okay, we have a caller from 7555.
If you'd like to ask a question, please.
And if you have us on speaker.
Otherwise, your request has been received.
Okay, 7555, you need to take us off speaker for us to hear you.
Hello, MamaYAH.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. This is Terry in California. What a wonderful call. This is your second call, and I have not missed one, and I really, really enjoy all your calls. You have such wisdom. You're such a great teacher, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for calling and listening, and thank you for speaking.
Thank you for being a builder of nations.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm just reading, but Spirit did lead me to read what I read this evening.
Well, it's wonderful, and I'm really, really enjoying your call. Thank you.
Thank
Love,
you
peace,
so much.
Truth, freedom, and justice, one heart, one mind, and one spirit.
And I accept it and receive it and send it out again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We have caller 7461.
Hi, MamaYAH. It's Grace from California. I just wanted to say you're doing a great job, and I'm learning a lot. And a lot of these verses I'm going to read to my kids because they need to hear all this. And I just wanted to say thank you for everything you're teaching us and for the time you're giving us to all these explanations. They're wonderful. And I yield in one mind, one heart, and one spirit.
Well, love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice. Thank you so much for calling and listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And next we have 7721. Your line is open. Maybe you have us on mute. Okay. 7721. I'll try you again in a moment. Okay. We have 2911.
Good evening, MamaYAH. God is love. It was a great call tonight, and thank you for all those scriptures that you went through. And I do hope that we had some more men to show that women play a great part to this world. You ladies play a great part into this world. And if we apply ourselves by these principles that although they were short verses, they will have a great impact upon us. And we have to keep some of them in mind. Peace and love, and thank you very much for sharing your view. And that poem that young lady read was very good also for Mother's Day. It'd be nice if she could have that on a plaque to send out so people would give to mothers for Mother's Day. Peace and love, one heart, one mind, one spirit.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. And we have Anonymous.
Good evening, MamaYAH.
Good evening.
This is 208 Tom.
Yes.
I got here late, but I got here. Anyway, I want to echo all the thank yous that everybody has just given you. Brother Lincoln, he mentioned the male energy in the house. Well, I'm late, but I'm here. I'm the male energy in the house, and I appreciate what you're putting out there to give these all these mothers and mamas their deserving appreciation, if you will. Anyway, I just wanted to chime in and extend that thank you, and thank you for all the ones that did participate, and I yield. One heart, one
Thank
heart.
you so much, Tom, for calling and listening.
Well, I
appreciate
I got here late,
you.
but I got here.
Okay. We're happy you're here.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
up
you.
the good work. It's all beautiful.
Okay. Now, I do want everyone to know that you can go on Facebook to Create Tricks. That's a Facebook page that I have. And it's a new group, but you can join the group there. And if you have any suggestions as to what you would like to hear on this call, I would appreciate them. This call is just about over unless someone else wants to raise their hand and say something. And I appreciate that my sweet sister Crone, Selah, Eliana Bay, called in and read the beautiful poem from Khalil Gibran. I can post some of what I read this evening on the Facebook page Create Tricks, but you'll be able to listen back at this call, I think until tomorrow night. But it will be up on YouTube on Truth UnCONPromeyezed. So I want to thank everyone that called in tonight for making this call viable. And I wish you all a blessed evening. I send you lots of love. And I'm going to play a song going out that is going to bring even more love to all of us. Have a pleasant evening.